6 hidden costs of running a business. Most businesses don't go bust because of one giant mistake. They go bust because of 100 small expenses they forgot to track. Welcome to Zulf Talks, Season 17, Episode 6. I'm going through and sharing my entire journey. Again, self-funded, no sponsors, no investors, just my time, my effort, and the work I do through trustedcreators.org. I share real opinions with you. If you're following along so far, well done. You made it halfway nearly. I'm planning 12 episodes for this season, basically looking at business. The goal is to keep it simple. If I can rebuild from this, then you can too. So when you're starting a business from zero, you're usually focusing on the big wins like the first sale, maybe the first 1,000 subscribers, the big launch moment. But after running trustedcreators.org, I've learned something important. It's not the big expenses that kill a business. It's the quiet hidden ones you never saw coming. And you need to manage these as you go through the business to keep on top of them. Today I'm pulling back the curtains on the invisible line, items in my budget, so you can plan for a business that actually stays profitable and you don't get lots of sneaky little fees taking away your profit and your plans. So why am I doing this? It's a reality check. 2026 is around the corner. We're in 26th of December 2025 right now. And I want to share my, tips, I'll call them, like running a business and what I've gone through. If you're following along so far, you'll know I've done a 6-episode special before this. So this season's keeping you in tune. It's easier than ever to start a business. Everyone makes it sound like it's very easy online. And it is easier than ever to slowly bleed money without realizing it. So I'm showing you my actual figures, couple of things to think about in this zero to hero rebuild. Not theory, not screenshots from 5 years ago, but the real cost of entry right now. So the reality check, 6 hidden costs. We're going to start with this big one that costs a lot more than you think they should cost. The Professional Gatekeeper. Accountants. If you've been following me along, you'll know I didn't have a great experience and I get very passionate about it. It's tempting to say, I'll just do my own taxes. When you're self-employed, yeah, okay. Not a bad idea. If you're competent enough, you can do it. But when it comes to a limited company, your accountant or a good accountant doesn't cost you money. They can save you money. They get you thinking a different way. They try and let you know about ways to improve things. They save you time. They save you fines if they're good. And they catch mistakes before they become expensive lessons. And that's if your accountant is half decent and looks at your accounts before they submit them. A lot of people have an accountant, or some accountants only look at their books once a year and they'll miss stuff that you could have done throughout the year. This one is non-negotiable cost that pays for itself, but there are accountants out there that you have to be careful with. It's an unregulated field, so many people can call themselves accountants, and you'll pay anything from low end £2,000-3,000 a year to 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, even higher, depending on your company size and all the requirements for your company, bookkeeping, payroll, pensions, etc. So that's something to think about. And are you paying them on a monthly basis, or are you going to be paying them like a one-off fee? Think about it. It is a hidden cost. I did not expect to pay my accountant £3,000-4,000 a year for a simple company, which I think it doesn't need that much work, but there are some costs there that need to be accounted for. And yeah, they're just expensive basically. Subscription creep, $10 here, $15 there, couple of pounds here, a SEO tool, email builder, design app you might use someday. Those small subscriptions quietly stack up into thousands per year. My rule, if I'm not using a tool every single week, it's gone. Audit your apps. You have to be ruthless here because some of these apps aren't excellent. Let me give you a list of apps I actually pay for. I pay for Bitwarden, not expensive, and it manages passwords and logins because I use multiple devices, and we have a team that log on with smart codes. So the keys give you that. So that's worth paying for. We use that every single day. What else? Tools. I have to pay for cookbooks. That's number 2. There's some other software that we pay for to maintain the actual data. So I thought about Google Spaces. I thought about drives. I brought a Synology NAS drive. That was a one-off cost, and I host everything I can: photos, videos, data, spreadsheets, photos, music, everything we need to use to make our videos on that drive. So it actually works out. It saves. It was quite expensive to set up. It was like about £1,300 for the NAS with all the drives in. I change the drives out every 3 to 4 years, but it still works out cheaper than what I would have had to pay for storage on like the cloud. And it's a little bit more reliable because if the internet's down, I can still access the device and get stuff off it. And it's quicker actually. So subscription creep is a thing, but you have to be ruthless. That's like an example from my side. Number 3, the what if fund. Business insurance is boring until the moment you need it. If you're filming in public, handling client data, running a website that takes payments, you need some protection. You will never regret having insurance. You'll only regret not having it. So consider that in your field and your line of work. The hidden admin tax, the time costs. Your time is not free. If you spend 4 hours a week on bookkeeping, emails or paperwork, that's 4 hours you're not creating content, selling or growing, depending on what you're doing. You need to ask yourself, what is the time actually costing my business? Can I have it in a cheaper way? Will it be cheaper to pay an accountant to do the bookkeeping if I'm spending 6 hours a day or a week, or depending on what you're doing? Sometimes the smartest move is paying someone else because it works out cheaper in the long run. So you can stay in the zone of value. There is the nickel and dime fees. Number 5, transaction fees, bank charges, Stripe, PayPal. Each one feels tiny, almost invisible. But look at the year and total, and suddenly those micro leaks add up to real money leaving your pocket. And you know what? It doesn't feel great. Transaction fees. I use Starling, and sometimes I'm paid with cash. So I need to go to a post office and put in money into that Starling account. They charge you a transaction fee to put money into your account. So it's like, what? Bank charges? If you make that payment, that client says a bank charge. Are you selling online? There's transaction fees. Do you have online eBay, Etsy? They all charge fees. So all this stuff, you need to track them, expect them, and price your work accordingly so you're not losing out. Now, number 6, the realistic buffer. My 10% rule, it used to be 10%, now it's 30%. Here's my rule for planning. Whatever you think something will cost you, assume it will be 10 to 20% more. So you'll notice I thought 10%. I made that my new as 30% because it does end up costing that much. There are always surprises, always delays, always something you didn't factor in. And if you've got that 30% buffer there, you know what? You're ahead of a lot of us. That buffer is the difference between stress and stability. And if it works out and it goes smoothly, you can roll that over to the next one. So you've got a little bit of a pot there saved up for any fees and stuff. What to expect? You know what? This season, I've kind of broke down quite a lot. I've gone and approached it a little bit different. We're halfway through. At this point, we're officially building our business foundations. I've been doing this long enough, and I'm year 5 now on my trustedcreators.org. And I think I've ironed out all the kinks. I've got rid of stuff I don't need. I'm cutting down on losses, doubling up on the profits, and thinking about ideas to keep us in the money, keep the structure, and the reality checks are there. Next episode, we're going to pivot. We're going to be looking around why this matters, how you should be thinking about this, and watch the pennies and the pounds will take care of themselves. You know what? It's going to be interesting on this journey because we've already gone through a few elements here where we talked about how we pay ourselves. We looked at sole trader versus limited trader company, how much money you really need to set up, don't quit your day job, what working for yourself really means. All of these key elements are part of a journey that they don't really talk about it, do they? I'm going to look at next episode what I got wrong in my first year of my business And we're going to look at some elements there, because there's 10 things as a director that I think I learned that I wouldn't have learned if I didn't go down this journey. So sometimes it's worth making a mistake, because you can learn and then share that with others. So you're going to really find the next episode helpful. It would be really good if you can leave a review wherever you're listening to this. The show resources are available at zulftalks.com.